What is up, YouTube? We are back again here today on the Fumble Pod. Got a big weekend coming up. We got our championship games. We got NFC, AFC championship. We got some interesting matchups, ones that would have been good, but there are now some factors playing into all of this. If you're new here, I am your host, Dalton Lee, and let's dive right on into it. First, at 3 o'clock on Sunday, we got the number 2 seed Patriots traveling to Denver to play the number 1 seed Broncos. And right now, New England's 4.5 point favorite. You're like, against the number 1 seed, what in the world? The problem, right? We look at this on paper, we're like, okay, two surprising teams. Like, we expected Denver to be good, New England to be better than what they were last year. We did not expect them to be our top 2 seeds in the playoffs. And we're looking at it, we're like, okay, Denver's got a really good defense. The offense has been good, had moments of questionable things going on, but has been good for the most part. And then we look at New England, we're like, okay, they got Drake May, you know, potential runner up for the MVP or winner. We do not know for sure. He's in the top 2, I would say. Travion Henderson, who didn't play till halfway through the season. Old ass Stephon Diggs. A couple young guys that can make a couple splash plays. And maybe 2 guys I can name on defense. 3. Christian Gonzalez, Robert Spillane, and Harold Landry. And then a bunch of guys. But they play fundamentally great football. So it's like, okay, we got 2 really good teams here. The big issue with this game, because I think originally this game would be electric, be so fun. You got 2 teams who have, in theory, really no business of being here, playing to go to the Super Bowl. 2 young teams. And it's like, okay, we're gonna get a really good matchup here. Nope. Bo Nix shatters his ankle like second to last play of the game last week, and it's like, yep, he's out. So we get Jarrett Stidham versus New England Patriots. And in my mind, Stidham was solid in college. He had a couple decent starts in New England. I don't see it working. I really don't. Call me what you want. I do not see this working well for him. I think Sean Payton's going to build a game plan that's very run centric, easy throws, easy reads for Stidham versus like Bo Nix. And they're going to play, possession game, field position, and try to let the defense try and win them the game. But I do not see that working against this New England Patriots team. They're too well coached on all 3 keys of a football team. The defense is well coached. They don't have the best talent in the world. They will miss out on Harold Landry. He is not going to play. So that's going to hurt a bit, but fundamentally great on defense. Offense, they can kind of do whatever they want. If they want to run the ball 50 times, they got 2 really good running backs that can do it. They can also let Drake May air it out a little bit. He's pretty good at that. And their special teams are pretty solid too. So their whole team as a unit is really good. Broncos, really, they still got a good offense. They got a great defense, great special teams. I do think it's going to come down to the quarterbacks. And if you told me Bo Nix was playing this game, I would say it'd be closer toss-up, honestly. But is Jarrett Stidham going to outduel Drake May? I don't think so. With all due respect, it's just Vrabel's going to see this like, blood in the water as sharks. And I think they're going to pounce on it early. If they can force the turnover 2 out of Stidham and just open the floodgates here. Honestly, it's just, I don't know. Like, I kind of hate this as our AFC championship. Only because Bo Nix is hurt. If Bo Nix is healthy, it's a different conversation we could be having here. But Bo Nix being out really does put a damper on, I think, this team. Even though he isn't necessarily the focal point, he has been kind of the motor with this team. The better he plays, the better his team performs. And even when he's had some bad games, the team still performs well. But you're going to ask them in the biggest game they've played in a decade to play like, their life depends on it. And I think they will. I think the first half's going to be close, but we're going to get to the second half. New England's going to come in here, and I think they're going to get a win, which I know history would say New England's never won in the postseason at Denver. That includes Tom Brady. Tom Brady's 0-3 there with Belichick. Last time they played was a decade ago. So here, in this same position. Granted, it was still Peyton Manning. It was in the latter year of Peyton Manning, but it's not like Denver won because of their offense. They won that game because their defense was out of this world. This Denver defense is really good. It's not as good as that defense. And I don't know. I don't think history is going to repeat itself here. I like New England. Give me New England in a like 24-16 type game. Like it'll be close, but score wise, but we'll look back at it and be like, yeah, Patriots were in complete control. They were able to kind of just cruise their way through. If it ever got close, they were able to put a lead back together and keep going. So yeah, I'm taking New England because I don't think there's really a whole lot to talk about in that game. Whereas the second game, boy, we're getting a masterclass in the NFC Championship. We got 12-5 Rams traveling to Seattle to play the 14-3 Seahawks. And let me tell you, yes, this is a football cup. We are very, very dedicated over here. Right now, Seattle's a 2.5-point favorite at home. And I understand they're 2.5-point favorite. This game truly is a toss-up. I would say Seattle's got the better overall roster, top to bottom, when we look at defense. Offense is about even. Defense for sure goes to Seattle. Special teams has been phenomenal in Seattle. But the Rams have been in this position before. This team has been in this position before. Let me take it back. Not the whole team. Just select group of guys. McVay and Stafford have been in this position before. So they know how to win in this type of game to get to the Super Bowl. The first year that Stafford was brought in, they played in this game and won. So, the question is, do you take the veteran coaching leadership that's been here, done this, versus a more talented younger group? Possibly. I couldn't disagree with that argument if that was the angle you were going with, because it'd be like Stafford, when given the chance to sling the rock, will sling the rock, and normally turns out pretty good for him, especially when you have Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua, Kyren Williams out of the backfield. He's got a good cast around him. The only problem still is the Seattle defense is insane. I wouldn't say there's really a weakness in his defense. That front four is really good. Those linebackers fly around, make plays. That secondary is phenomenal. I mean, some would say it is Legion of Boom Jr. I'm just saying, like that defense is that damn good. I mean, they've already announced Cam Chancellor is going to be their honorary captain on Sunday. That alone should strike fear into some people. What that man used to do on a football field, Derrick Henry better be lucky he didn't really have to play against prime Cam Chancellor. Man, I would pay good money to watch that. Even if it was only 3 tackles. I want to see who's winning them 3 attempts. I'm all in. Take all my money. But see, like, we're going to sit here and talk highly of the Seahawks, but the Rams are no slouches either. It's just kind of confusing when we look at the Rams, because we look at their defense, we look at the talent, we're like, you have a lot of talent. But then you look at the numbers, and it's like, what are they doing out there? I mean, we can look at it even in the postseason. The defense really hasn't done a lot in the postseason. Sure, last week was probably their best game of the postseason, but they were playing in -8-degree weather in Chicago. Nobody was really doing offense that game. They got 3 turnovers, but, sometimes it's more so just right place, right time. Sometimes it's really just conditions. Sometimes it's a receiver giving up on a play that could potentially change the tide. Shout out DJ Moore. But, but I feel like this Rams defense, even though they don't get all the numbers and they don't have that like sexy look when you look them up and you're like, oh yeah, like this is defense. They're still really good. They're really young. And, I would love to sit here and say Sean McVay is the better coach, but honestly, I really think this is a hot take here. Sean McVay is a great coach. I think if Mike McDonald was the offensive coach, he'd be better. We would talk more highly of him. The reason why we don't is because he's a defensive minded coach. He calls the defense. But the way he calls this defense is utterly insane. Sure, we've seen, defensive gurus are able to switch up coverages, make it look one thing, do another. But they can only, most of the time with a defense, you can only do that in spurts. Just because if you keep constantly doing it, eventually there's going to be some confusion by your defense. And somebody's going to have a misread. Somebody's going to be wide open. Not this Seattle team. I think 90% of the time, and I know I'm not an NFL head coach, offense coordinator, quarterback, nothing, so I don't know. I know quite a bit, but I don't know nearly as much about reading defenses and playing the mind games. Most games that I watch, I can look at and know, okay, they're playing this type of defense, man coverage because of XYZ, and roll. When I watch Seattle play defense, I have no clue what is going on. Genuinely. Because I'll sit there and I'm like, okay, this looks like cover 2. So they should go with this. And then as soon as the ball snapped and they cut the next play because it was incomplete, you look at it and you go, why did the safety roll that way? What is this corner doing? And then you're like, oh, it's actually cover 3. It's actually cover 0 that they disguise as cover. It's almost insane what they do. It's truly an art, honestly. Because even though McVay is great, it's if you can put yourself in a position where your offense is always having to look for the next move they have to make and you keep them on their toes, you're honestly winning the battle. Because defensively, it's like, okay, we know what we're doing. We know the look. We know what's coming. Like, they bring a guy in motion from, let's say, left or right, and you're like, okay, well, I already know I got a blitz coming from the left. They just took away a potential, route that I'd have to look for. We're chilling. And then they don't really see a whole lot of movement. They're like, okay, they're running zone. No, it's an all-out blitz coming from the left. Man coverage. You better get that ball out quick, Stafford, or it's going to hurt. I will say the only thing that could potentially hold back this Seahawks team is Sam Darnold, right? I don't know what version of Sam Darnold is. It's almost like it's like the Green Goblin, okay? When you see Norman Osborn, are you talking to Norman Osborn or are you talking to the Goblin? And if that's the problem. You never know who it is that you're talking to, but you better hope it's one or the other. Probably Norman. AKA, there's Norman Osborn and then there's the Green Goblin, okay? You need Sam Darnold to be closer to just more Norman Osborn than Green Goblin. If he's Green Goblin, that means he's seeing ghosts. It's Jets Darnold. You don't want Jets Darnold. You want Minnesota Darnold. The guy that can go out there and sling the rock. And I know the 2 times they played LA this year, first time wasn't a good game by Darnold. The second one, they came back and won, but it's kind of hard that they had to put themselves in that position to have to come back and win that game. But Darnold did play great in that back half of the game and overtime. So you're probably hoping for that version of Darnold. Even though if you got into a situation where it's like, okay, we need a big play here, Shaheed to do it. Shaheed on kickoff, Shaheed on punt return, he'll make something happen. And it's not that hard to do against the Rams. The Rams special teams is awful. That will probably be their biggest downfall. Not even if they give up a kickoff return touchdown or a punt return touchdown. Just the fact of if instead of giving up, let's say, 5 yards on a return for a punt return, they give up 25. Okay, so instead of the offense starting at, let's say, they're 30, they're already at midfield. They only need a first down or so to get a field goal. That's not good. We've also seen them be piss poor on field goals. We saw it last week. Thought it was going to come back to bite them. It didn't, luckily enough. So I only can see the Rams win this game if they are perfect. They have to play a perfect game at all three levels: offense, defense, special teams. I think even if they only play at 2/3, they almost still need special teams to do their job. Like if they have an okay defensive day, but a perfect offense and flawless execution on special teams, I think they'll be fine. Or if it's defense is playing phenomenal, special teams is playing really good, and the offense is a little lackluster, they'll probably still be in the game. But if it's special teams is being awful and offense defense is being really good, because even a great defense will still get tired eventually. Eventually, a great offense is going to get stopped at least once or maybe mess up. And I just think in Seattle, with a chance to go to the Super Bowl, I just think that's going to be a really tough environment to flawlessly execute in. So, give me Seattle 31-21. 31-21 is what I'm going with. So, we're getting a rematch of Super Bowl 49. Patriots, Seattle. Should be an entertaining game if that comes to fruition. So that's what I got for games. I'm going to jump into just some overall news that's kind of been going around. So let's see. Harbaugh has been fully hired. He's putting together a staff. McDermott's been fired. And currently, the front runner is potentially either Daboll or I think Mike McDaniel's coming in for an interview, even though he technically has been hired by the Chargers to be their OC. Honestly, I think the Bills should go with Brian Daboll. The last time we seen Josh Allen play phenomenal outside of his MVP year, which was a year ago, when he started playing his most clean, highly productive football was when Brian Daboll was his OC. Him and Daboll have a good relationship. Daboll is still a really good offensive guy. I could see that working. I could see that at least, like, if that move was made, be like, okay, I understand what they're going for here. They want to make Josh Allen happy and comfortable. And realistically, if anybody was going to find some form of production from Keon Coleman, it's probably Brian Daboll. So I would understand the move there, for sure. Whereas Mike McDaniel, I think he needs a year or two of just being back as an OC, showing that, hey, it probably was Tua versus Mike McDaniel in terms of what was wrong on offense in Miami. So I think he should take an offensive coordinator gig. The Chargers is a good fit for him. I personally would have liked to see him maybe go to a Philly or even back to, I would say Philly would be very interesting, just to see what all he could scheme up for Saquon, Devontae, possibly A.J. Brown if he sticks around, Goddard, and how he could use Hurts. But I do think Chargers is still a really good fit. Got some young pieces over there, a good running back room, great quarterback. Just have to hope your tackles can stay healthy. And I will touch on one thing. A whole lot hasn't come out about Sean McDermott and head coaching opportunities for him. I do think he'll get another one. I think his best options are teams that are already somewhat established and have the quarterback kind of figured out. Even though we have already seen him go to a terrible team that's in a mess and clean it up. So even if you're Cleveland, you're like, I mean, we saw McVay in a 9-year span be able to clean up his team within the first two, get them to the playoffs, be consistently in the playoffs, potentially fighting for championship appearances. So if it was announced that McDermott went to Cleveland, wouldn't shock me because it's like, okay, they'll give him a decent leash. He'll be able to clean up the defense and make some good moves. But I feel like if he wants to be highly competitive now, that would be more so. Well, it can't be Baltimore. Baltimore just got Jesse Minter from the Chargers, who was their former DC just a handful of years ago. So it would be Pittsburgh. Wouldn't shock me if it's Pittsburgh. But Cleveland would make sense. I actually, the more I think on it, the more I talk about it, it actually might be better. All that draft capital, be able to build up a good, solid roster, especially because we don't know how the AFC North is going to look next year. Could be good. Could be good. Because Stefanski is now in Atlanta, just hired Zach Robinson to be his OC, former. I could have swore he was the OC not that long ago in Atlanta. Which, granted, I don't think it matters because I believe Kevin Stefanski is going to call the plays, which, if anybody was going to make that offense work at the highest level possible, I think it'd be Stefanski. I mean, we just saw what he was doing on offense with Harold Fannin Jr., who I think is a dog, Shedeur Sanders, which we still don't fully know what he is, and no wide receiver one. And now he's going to go into a situation where he has Michael Penix, which we're still kind of questioning, Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts if they resign him, a pretty good offensive line. He can make some things work over there. The defense is still going to be questionable, but that offense should be high flying. Should be. And maybe some guy they get in the second or third day of the draft. Makes me really concerned. Makes me really concerned as a Panthers fan. But Bryce Young's their father. And that's all I got for you today. Just a nice, quick, little, easy, in and out. Trying to get this up before championship weekend. If you're new here, subscribe, hit the notification button, let you know when we're posting more content. If you've been around for a minute, let me know your predictions for this conference championship weekend. Try to get down there, interact with y'all, see if we can chop it up a little bit. But until next time, deuces.